But I want to move on to a final issue that is affecting health and well-being of men, particularly boys, in a truly alarming way. We have a growing public health crisis as a result of the proliferation of online pornography. In 2020, pornography websites received more website traffic than Twitter, Instagram, Netflix, Zoom, Pinterest and LinkedIn combined. For too long, society has viewed porn as a private matter, assuming that what people do in the privacy of their own homes is their own business. But it's clear that the impacts on society and culture have been significant and negative, and we must wake up to the destructive impacts of internet pornography. There's nothing mainstream about the porn now available online. Mainstream pornography platforms host vast, unknown quantities of filmed crimes, videos of trafficking, rape, non-consensual sexual violence, child sexual abuse material, sexual coercion, abuse and exploitation of vulnerable women and children, intrafamilial rape, humiliation, punishment, torture and pain, all available at the click of a mouse or the touch of an iPhone. Analysis of around 130,000 titles of videos recommended to first-time users of Pornhub and other major sites found that 1 in every 8 titles describes sexual activities that constitute sexual violence. And the word teen was the most frequently occurring word across the dataset. The second most common category was that of physical aggression and sexual assault. Viewing these videos affects what men, particularly boys, think about sex, what they think is normal, what they think is acceptable. Of course, it's right to think about the impact of pornography on women and girls. And it's notable that so many high-profile rapes and murders in recent years have been committed by men who are addicted to hardcore pornography, including the tragic murder of Sarah Everard. But children's consumption of online pornography has been associated with a dramatic increase in child-on-child sexual abuse, which now constitutes around a third of all child sexual abuse. So we also need to think about the negative impact on boys. Around 50% of 12-year-olds have seen pornography online, and in the UK, 1.4 million children access it every month. A UK survey found that 44% of boys between 11 and 16 who regularly view pornography reports that it gave them ideas about the kind of sex they want to try. We've seen the normalisation of strangulation during sex, of anal sex amongst young people. There was a case reported a year or so ago of a boy who raped a girl in school, and when the teacher asked him why he didn't stop, he said, "I thought it was normal for girls to cry during sex." How are these boys ever going to enjoy normal, loving, fulfilling, intimate relationships? During puberty, boys' brains develop. They have an erotic imprint where it's laid down what they see as normal, appropriate sexual behaviour. This imprint will stay with them for the rest of their life. How many of these boys will be drawn into serious sex offences? How many will endure broken relationships, broken families, or never form relationships at all? It also affects boys' health. We're seeing an increase in erectile dysfunction amongst teenage boys. And on the extreme end, a constant use of pornography can quickly lead men not to become aroused by anything other than hardcore online porn. This is why it is so important that this House passes the Online Safety Bill when it returns, that it goes through the House of Lords and becomes an Act of Parliament. We must introduce secure age verification so no children can access pornography websites, and we must stop children accidentally viewing or deliberately sharing pornographic images with each other online. While children's brains are developing, it is so crucial that they do not have access to this extreme material. At the moment, it's completely unregulated, and I'm afraid people who say it's parents' responsibility to make sure their children don't view it are not living in the real world. Even if your child has no phone, even if your child has no computer, all it takes is a classmate to put their own phone in front of that child, in front of your child, for them to see this stuff. Your child is only as safe as the least protected child in your child's class. And it's a bit like telling parents to teach their children to cross the road safely if there was no speed limit, no crossing points, no side of the road that you legally had to drive on. It would be completely impossible. Internet pornography is currently completely unregulated, and it is a public health disaster. So on top of the Online Safety Bill, we also need a public health inquiry led by the Department for Health into the harms of pornography. Yes to women and girls, yes the harms to the economy, the criminal aspects, but also the harms to boys and men, to their happiness, their fulfilment and their physical and mental health. The future social impact of this porn epidemic will be catastrophic if we don't protect our boys and girls. And I believe that online pornography is the opiates trade of our age, and we should be outraged by what our children are seeing. Madam Deputy Speaker,